Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much once again for joining me with another sit down video where we chop it up about life discussions and relatable topics that we all just want to, connect and get down with each other and just share our thoughts and opinions. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Yes, I'm wearing my glasses today, so sorry if there is a glare. Have to give my eyes a rest from them contacts. But before we get into the topic of today's video, which I was going back and forth on two different topics, but I think I'm going to settle on this particular one today. Before we get into it, let's look at the sponsor of this video, my brand new book, The Hush Language Mental Health Journal Youth Edition. This beauty right behind me. Please check it out. Support your girl. The link will be down below in the description box. And as a pinned comment, use code YAY10, that's YAY10 for 10% off your purchase by clicking the link to my website at thedreaminkhouse.com. Your support, let me tell you, is greatly appreciated. It is appreciated. So hit your girl up. Get that book. If you want to read more about it, for the youth in your life, for the young person in your life dealing with depression, anxiety, confidence, mental health issues, all those things that youth may go through and we kind of push to the side because we don't know how to deal with them. So that gives them the space to create and just really work on the problems themselves. So today's topic of the video, we're going to be talking about the bloodline. Yes, the bloodline. And so I'm eager to know what you guys think. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the words the bloodline? When you hear the word the bloodline, right? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Leave it down below. When I think of the bloodline, I think of every person from past decades to past um, generations that you are related to some way. That you can look back on and see where did this part of your family come from, what's your heritage, what's your lineage, what's my connection, where are my roots, where am I from, right? So when I first think of the bloodline, I think of that I have a past connection to um, to a certain culture of people, um, my certain relatives, how were they, what they look like, what they do, etc. Right? That is a beautiful thing, and that's something that I'm always interested in, always interested in. But the bloodline topic today that I want to talk about is those those things that may not be as great. I'm gonna just say the word, the negative things that we tend to say um, nowadays that are generational curses, that this is attached to my bloodline, this is how it is, this is, something that has been going on for decades and decades and generations, and no one really talks about it. So I was having a conversation with a cousin of mine, and we were talking about the bloodline and just how sometimes toxic bloodlines can be. Meaning, you have this generation here, this current generation in your bloodline, right? And this current generation is doing things totally different from what the older generation did. And it doesn't mean that they're doing things wrong. It just means that it's a different generation and the way we do things are massively different. But because of that, the newer generation, the current generation, kind of gets stoned for what we do. Um, and just looking at that, it kind of makes you feel you know, um, like you're doing things wrong, it's unnecessary or something, right? But then there's this other part of the bloodline where you feel like, let me just say my example, my experience. You feel like, you know, dang, well, um, this bloodline is crazy. Like, why do the women in this family act this way? Why do the men in this family act this way? Like, why is all this negative? Why don't this bloodline communicate? Why this? Why is it that the older generation wanna go to their grave with secrets and wanna, die with those secrets that could have helped the younger generation heal? And oftentimes we feel that we are suffering um, based on what the older generation has done or didn't do, or didn't stop, or didn't prepare us for. And sometimes you feel like, um, this is happening because that it came from past generations in the bloodline, and nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever did anything about it. They have this model where they just sweep it under the rug. This happened, abuse happened, rape happened. All these things happened. Nobody talked about it. They swept it under the rug, and now generations later, it's still happening in the bloodline, and nobody talking about it, and they sweep it under the rug. And so one thing about the newer generation is we're a little bit more outspoken. I wouldn't say too much, but a little bit more outspoken than what it used to be back then. And then we have the playing factors of social media, um, being able to communicate worldwide and, address our feelings online, because that's what this generation does. I try not to do that a whole lot. Sometimes I'll post here and there, but I learned my lessons from past years. And so I don't post a lot of deep personal things online as much anymore. And if I do ever do it, it's my business. Mind your business. It's my business, okay? Just mind your business. But anyways, at the end of the day, I just wanted to take a brief look at the bloodline because we do say this, the current generation, the present generation now, we do look at our bloodlines and we do think that our bloodline really affected how we live, how we thrive, how we communicate, um, how we love ourselves. Our bloodline really impacted us to the core. And what I'm finding the older that I get is that you really have to make a decision. Okay. I don't want to say stop blaming it on the bloodline because no, I actually believe that a lot of things that came from the generational bloodline from generations ago, past generations, right, really trickled on down and affected the culture of this current generation. I absolutely believe that. But it's overwhelming and it's tiresome. And it shouldn't fall on the current generation's shoulders to fix anything, and to make things right. And the fact that sometimes the older generation just don't want to deal with it, don't want to fix it, don't want to communicate, don't want to get to know the younger generation, you know. Um, and it's sad. It is really, 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 really sad. And so at the end of the day, um, what I've learned and what I'm learning is you really have to put your mind in the perspective of, you know what? I am who I am, and I've been working on myself. Yes, I'm a work in progress, but I've been consistently working on myself, and so I'm changing the trajectory of my bloodline. I'm changing the way that thing shifts in my life because if I ever decide to have children or get married one day or just the people that I come in contact with, friendships, relationships, whatever it may be, I don't want that to impact the way that I love them, the way that I communicate to them, the way that I have a relationship with them, you know. I want to be able to lead in my own life and not base my actions on the generational bloodline, like the things that have happened. I don't want to no longer do that. Double negative. I don't wish to do that any longer. Because of that, I'm making choices in my personal life to really put my best foot forward in doing the things that are right for me, making moves, and not focus my decisions on what the bloodline did. Because the bloodline is a bloodline, and yes, it does have a lasting impact on the way things are now, especially the relationships that you have or don't have with the older generation in the families. Um, cousins, whatever it is that you don't have those relationships. And it does impact your well-being. It does impact your mental health. It does impact the way that you thrive and you live. And so I don't want to take that away from anyone's experience at all, because trust me, I know I don't want to take that. But what I am saying is, while it has impacted the way that we feel and do and be and exist in our current present lives, it definitely has impacted that. We have a choice and an opportunity to really shift our lives and change the trajectory of what we're capable of being to our own selves and to our future selves and to our children and to our personal relationships that we encounter future and along the way and even currently. We have that decision, and so we can't put the blame 100% on past generations, because at this point we should be making our own decisions, if you understand what I'm saying. The past generations did what they did. The bloodline did what they did. They covered up what they wanted to cover up. Okay? They swept things under the rug because that's probably what they knew to do. That's what they were taught to do. That's what they knew to do. And like the saying goes, the older they get set in their ways, and they don't want to communicate. They don't want to make things right. They don't want to make a change. And so at the end of the day, you just got to do things for you. Do things for you that is going to really benefit your growth. What is necessary for you to grow, to develop, to thrive? Do that. Do that. And so that's the topic of today's video. I know we kind of got off to a little bit slow start, but I just wanted to really look at it from a different perspective and not just go into too much detail, because this will be hours long video and we don't want that. But yeah, that's today's topic. My word of encouragement, just make a plan for yourself and your life and your family and go after that. Change the trajectory of your life. Shift what the bloodline did and what they thought would impact you in a negative way, although it may have. Turn that into a positive. Turn that negative into a positive, and grow for you. Make a change for you, and make a change for your current family or your future family. And you'll be happy for it. You'll be happy that you did. But at the end of the day, that is the topic of today's video. I'm so glad you guys are here, and I hope you really enjoyed this discussion and are enjoying all the future discussions that I will be posting, and the past ones that I've already posted. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out my book, The Hush Language Mental Health Journal Youth Edition, on my website, Dream Loud Inc. My company is Dream Loud Inc. Publishing, the publishing side, but the website is thedreaminkhouse.com. The link will be down below. Use code YAY10 for 10% off your purchase. Your support is greatly appreciated. Let me tell you, it's appreciated. But I will see you guys on the next video. Until then, you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.